This is On the Sidelines with Box 13.
All right, welcome into another edition of the On the Sidelines podcast. I'm your host, Ethan McReynolds, here as always with my partner in crime, D-Jack Dante Jackson, and our special guest for today's episode, a last-minute edition, Bill Wixey of
Yes.
Good Morning Seattle. Bill, thank you. Good day, Seattle. Excuse me.
Sure.
Thank you so much for joining us.
It is a good day.
It is a good day.
It is a good day.
It's always a good day when we have you on the podcast.
Well, thank
you. Your debut here with us. We're excited to talk sports and specifically Seahawks.
Yes.
I mean, absolute electricity. Stephen A. Smith has them at the top of their top of his power rankings.
Yeah,
Stephen A. Smith.
And that worries me. Honestly, as a Seahawk fan, when people start talking about you, that's when I get concerned.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this defense is legit to the point where they can back it up. So it doesn't concern me that much. I'm just curious to see what the defense does this week against LA.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's start with this win over the Cardinals because I think it warrants being discussed. I mean, a 44-22 just slacking of the Arizona Cardinals. Does the first half get any better than that? I mean, you go into halftime at 38-7. You got 2 strip sacks by Tyrese Knight, 2 scoop and scores by DeMarcus Lawrence.
Yes.
I mean, D-Jack, what'd you like the most about that one?
What I like most about it is second half I got to do laundry. I mean, that's very rare during a Seahawks game. I'm usually locked in because you can't win a game to the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. It feels so great to just boat race a team first half where you know they don't even have a chance, and then you're able to relax the rest of the game. I didn't know what to do with myself.
2 weeks in a row with that, too.
Yes.
I mean, they just come out and make a statement, and I like that. Knocking people backwards on defense. I mean, that's what stands out to me. I mean, they're winning the line of scrimmage. They're just destroying people on defense right now. If they can do that against L.A., particularly up front, I think they have a real shot here.
And they're doing it with backups, Bill. I mean, their depth is being challenged. You had Tyrese Knight with 2 forced fumbles and DeMarcus Lawrence. Lawrence with the scoop and scores, but that was the second string linebacker because Ernest Jones is out, and you have so many injuries on this football team. One of the leaders in Julian Love is out. I mean, you name them, they've been out, and the Seahawks just keep on rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bill, you mentioned the second straight blowout. The last time the Seahawks trailed was against the Jaguars in Week 6. That also happens to be the last time the Rams trailed in a game. So it is going to be a battle of titans in this NFC this upcoming week. We're going to talk about that. I want to talk about what we saw from the offense and what we saw from the defense in this game. We sort of touched on the defense, but offensively, this is sort of the first time that we saw that running game sort of get going. I mean, they ran the ball 46 times to just 12 passes, 4.3 yards per carry, 198 yards. This is what we've been waiting to see, right? I mean, the 2 losses for the Seahawks this season, they weren't able to the 49ers, they got nothing going, the offensive side of the ball and the running game specifically. With the Bucs, they also weren't able to put the game away, gave the Bucs an opportunity to take the lead, and they were able to. We've seen throughout the season, teams have gotten back into games because the Hawks haven't been able to finish them out. The Cardinals on Thursday Night Football, the Texans sort of getting back into that game on Monday Night Football because the Hawks had to throw the ball to move the ball and extend to move the chains. We're finally seeing in that second half, I feel like the first time this season where the Hawks were able to consistently run the ball, which is something, right, they're going to need to be able to do to make a deep playoff run and make it to a Super Bowl.
And doing it with a 3-headed monster now.
Yes.
I mean, with Helani coming onto the scene now, and he scored a touchdown. I mean, I like the depth there at the running back position. If they can keep all 3 of them healthy and keep them fresh, I mean, you're running clock and you're letting the defense do what they do, and that's how you're going to win a championship.
And you know what? I beg to differ. A lot of people will look at the numbers and say the run game got going. I don't think so. You want to run when they know you're going to run and when you have to run. They salted the game away because they had the big lead. I want to see them run the ball in a close game a la like against the Rams and be effective. That's when I want to see. That's when I'll say, okay, the run game is going. In this game right here, it was kind of like fool's gold there to me. Each running back had 14 carries as far as Charbonnet and Ken Walker. I'd like to see one of them up in the 20s if you really want to run the ball. And I just think it's a little bit of fool's gold. I would say this run game is not going.
I think I'm not going to, announced that it's arrived and it's like that's what we're going to get for the rest of the season. I think that it was some positive signs.
Yes.
The first time that we showed. I mean, what was that?
Nothing to sneeze at for sure.
Yeah, one of the drives in the third quarter, maybe it was the fourth quarter, where they just rammed the ball 10 times, got down into field goal range, and they had to settle for a field goal. But, I mean, it was just the Seahawks just dictating things in the trenches and just running it down your throat. And, the Cardinals' defense isn't awful against the run. Right. So maybe they'd given up by that point. You could certainly make that argument. But that was the first time where we really saw the Seahawks dictate things on an offensive drive in the running game. Context aside, that's one of the first times we've seen it all year, which I'd rather see it than not see it.
It's nothing to sneeze at. I'll take it. I'm just saying, I wouldn't say, the run game is on. I just wouldn't say that. It's a work in progress. Let's call it what it is. I would like to see more of a bell cow in Ken Walker, maybe get 20 touches. It doesn't have to be 20 carries. He's a game breaker. I don't think he gets the ball enough out of the backfield. I want to see them throw to him. I want to see screens. I want to see swing passes. And that's something the Hawks have not done all season with one of their best playmakers in Ken Walker. I don't think they realize that.
Bill, what do you make of how they're splitting up the touches between K9 and Charbonnet?
It was surprising to me to see Alani get as much work as he was getting last week, and I don't know if it was because it was so lopsided. But I thought it was interesting. I thought he was running effectively, and I thought Charbonnet had a jump to his step as well, and K9 doing what he can do when he's right. So I don't mind it. I mean, from a fantasy football perspective, I mean, if you have Kenneth Walker on your team, you don't want to see that because you want to see him getting all the carries. But at the same time, from a real football perspective, like it's really effective. And to your point, in a close game, and I don't think we're going to see any sort of a walk-away type of victory this week against L.A., you're going to need fresh backs like that because you're going to need to be able to control the clock, maintain possession, and continue to sustain drives late into the game. The key this week is the running game is going to be big. I mean, it's always going to be big, but it's going to be the defense. It's going to come down to that defense, and if they play the way they're playing right now, I mean, LA is in for a fight.
Absolutely. Well, and let's touch on the defensive side of the ball because a lot of guys had to step up. D-Jack, you mentioned. I wanted to bring up Tyrese Knight because you saw the 2 strip sacks, but I thought he played an incredible game. Those 2 plays aside, he was playing fast. He was playing physical. D-Jack, we talked last week about Ernest Jones as a stopper.
Yes.
Right. He's not bleeding yards when he's stopping you for a 2-yard gain. It's turned into a 5-yard gain. Tyrese Knight sort of showed that in this game. He was hitting dudes and they were stopping. And he brought up after the game, it sort of led into some light into what he was dealing with over training camp. He was dealing with a heart issue.
Right.
And that could play into maybe why he wasn't able to secure that will linebacker spot over Drake Thomas. And with his play, I think he's showing he's arrived in this year 2. And does he push Drake Thomas, once Ernest Jones is fully healthy? But I saw a lot of really good things from Tyrese Knight.
I think he will get more reps, definitely, whether Ernest Jones or Drake Thomas is in the game because he's been lights out for 2 games. And you heard it here first on the Sideline podcast. We speculated that it wasn't something wasn't right with Tyrese Knight health-wise. Maybe that was the reason why he was out of the lineup. And sure enough, he alluded to it last week. After the game, he said, hey, look, it feels good to finally be healthy and play ball like he wanted to. So he has nothing holding him back. 2 strip sacks look identical. Mike McDonald, a mad genius, dialing it up. And everybody said Jamarcus Lawrence might have been a little bit lucky. No, that's a good defense when you have multiple people around the ball. That's what happens when you rally to the ball, Bill.
And when you have backups that are able to come in and be as effective as Knight is, for example, Reek Woolen, who took a lot of heat early in this season.
Nehemiah Pritchett.
He's playing with great confidence right now. This is contagious. When you get guys that are playing as well as they are and everybody's playing as a team, because this is a complex defense. They're doing some stunning and blitzing and things that we haven't seen out of Seahawks defenses. Up until McDonald got here, he's really got the group playing the style of defense he wants. They understand what they're supposed to do, and they can pick each other up. Not only on the field, but also just with their play. And you can really see it now. And there's a lot of comparisons to the LOB area, and I don't think that's too far off. I mean, this is an LOB 2.0, But at the same time, I think these guys are playing with such confidence that they believe that they can go out there and win the game themselves.
And it's anybody. It's next man up that believes. The whole team believes. I think LOB, their starters were dominant, but they didn't have the depth of this team. I don't believe. When you have a Rick Woolen coming off the bench, and I'm so glad. Kudos to John Snyder, because he might be most known for the deal he didn't make this year, which is trading a Boye Mafe and trading a Tariq Woolen. I was screaming from the mountaintops, don't get rid of this player. This guy is a specimen. He's athletic. He can cover. He had a few bad games. We all saw that, but I am so happy he's still on this team because injuries happen, and guess what? You got our front line player that can be a starter on probably 31 of the other teams coming off the bench for the Seahawks. This defense is fantastic.
I think it also speaks to the culture that Mike Macdonald is sort of curating here in Seattle. It's very different from what Pete Carroll did, and not to talk down on Pete Carroll or anything. I just think it's his own genuine, authentic self that Mike Macdonald is putting onto the Seahawks team. I think he talks about the ready squad. He doesn't call it the practice squad. He calls it the ready squad.
Yes.
I think that, he's got all these cliche monikers that he talks about, but you see his team like actually living it and actually buying into what he's saying. That's how you know that you've got a head coach that is here for the long haul.
Yes.
That the players believe in. He has the locker room. He's got the guys playing for him. And that's a really, really powerful thing. You mentioned the LOB comparison. It's interesting. I was listening on sports radio, and I think it's a good point. The LOB era was built from the secondary up to the front, and they sort of turned the step when they got depth on the defensive front. This defense is built from the defensive front, trading for Leonard Williams, getting Jaron Reed back, signing DeMarcus Lawrence in free agency, drafting Byron Murphy, back to the secondary, and now you've got depth in that secondary with the emergence of Josh Jobe on top of a Reek Woolen that you drafted, on top of a Devin Witherspoon that you drafted. You bring in Julian Love. Eamon Worry has been absolutely incredible.
And we got to add Ty Okada. I mean, this guy is hitting everything right now. Who would have thought he'd come off the bench and play like he's playing? And Kobe Bryant, a transition from cornerback, he's safety now. He is our safety. He's flying all over the place. Yeah, I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry, Ethan. Go ahead.
Well, you mentioned Eamon Worry. There's an awesome stat from our buddy Hawk Blogger. Nick Eamon Worry, fourth player in NFL history with 9 tackles, 4 passes defended, and a half sack in the same game. First rookie ever to do that in a single game. If that's not an all-around football game from a defensive player, I don't know what is.
What you think about Eamon Worry, Bill?
I love him. I think he's fantastic. He fits right in there.
Cam Chancellor 2.0, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, and the way they hit, and they're hitting to make a statement.
Yeah.
I mean, teams come out of playing Seattle, and this is from week 1. Right, I mean, look what happened to the Niners after week 1. They may have come away with that game, a game we probably should have won, but they paid a price. I mean, they haven't been the same since.
Yeah,
and I think every team that's playing them is getting hit so hard. Their offenses are having to think twice. And so that's going to be a key this week against L.A. I mean, make a statement, make it early.
To your point, Jaden Daniels knocked out of the game. Brock Purdy hasn't been the same, knocked out of the game. So to your point, these defenses have putting pelts on the wall, for lack of a better term. I love the way they're moving around now. A lot of people try to make the comparison between Eamon Worry and Cam Chancellor. I don't see it other than size, and maybe they come from the same school or the same area. Eamon Worry is versatile. He can do much more than Cam Chancellor. Now, I like the way Cam hit and set the tone. Eamon Worry goes from covering a Trey McBride, one of the best tight ends in the league, to blitzing the quarterback and getting a sack. He's so versatile. I don't believe Cam Chancellor had that kind of versatility, especially in coverage.
Nick Eamon Worry better than Cam Chancellor?
No, I wouldn't say he's better. No, you didn't hear here first. I'm not saying he's better. I said he can do more.
All right, yeah.
Don't have him coming for me. Don't have him coming for me. Comment section coming for me. Don't have him coming for me, Ethan. Please don't have him coming for me.
Let's dive into this Rams matchup, because
right.
I mean, this is the game of the season so far, right? The Seahawks have 2 wins so far this season against winning teams, the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think either of those teams are going to be competing for a Super Bowl. This is the game. This is where you can show that you are actually legit and do it against a Super Bowl contender. Bill, how do you see this matchup playing out?
It's about what we've been talking about. I think it's going to be one up front, and the defensive front in particular, because the Rams have had their way offensively so far this season. All the weapons, their offensive line is solid. They run the ball very well. Both of their running backs run the ball very well, and quorum is something you have to take into account as well. I think the defensive front is going to have to show up. If they can get pressure on Matthew Stafford, he's not going to run away from a lot of pressure, right? If you can break that pocket, get in there, get a hand on him, get him off his spot, as they say, I think you have a real chance against the Rams. And to make a statement, like I say, I mean, if you can go out there and do that early, and let them know that we are here and we're not going anywhere all day. It's going to be that kind of game. I think the Seahawks are going to have success. The other side of the ball, I have a couple questions about Sam Darnold and some of the decisions that he makes, particularly when he's under pressure and in pressure situations. And I think this week is when we're really going to see what we actually have that way.
Yes, because the Rams have a great defense also.
They do.
These are two evenly matched teams. I looked at the all-time record. I think the Seahawks are up by one, like 28 to 27 or something like that, and win. So this is an evenly matched team, and I love the Rams coach. So they're going to be ready, and they are going to be prepared. You talk about run game, Seahawks ranked 21st. Rams ranked 3rd. Matthew Stafford, they say nobody's playing better than Sam Darnold. Well, Matthew Stafford is. 25 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So he has, I was telling Bill earlier, he has a PhD in quarterback. Yeah. You talking about getting the pressure. It's not so easy. And if you do blitz him, he'll make you pay. And he have 2 frontline targets in Dante Adams and Puka Nacua. So this
quick release.
Yeah, and so this is going to be, like you said, this is going to be a tough task. I do expect the Hawks to win because I believe they're a more physical team. And like Bill was saying, they put their imprint on the games by being physical, the impact, the other team losing players. So I do think the Hawks will win, but I do think it will be a close game. Sam Darnold has to have a mistake, error-free game. He cannot have those bonehead mistakes. He has to. He has to. No snaps, drop snaps. You can't have the bouncing off the helmet, interceptions. Everybody says it's a fluke. Well, it's happened multiple times. Is that still a fluke? I don't think so. Like, he has to get rid of that ball when he's in trouble. And I say, just like that Cooper Kupp pass to the sideline, use your legs, Sam. Now, when I say use your legs, that doesn't mean you got to run for the first down. He ran out of the pocket. He knew where the line of scrimmage was. He straddled that. He found a wide-open Cooper Kupp for a 67-yard gain. He used his legs. He has to do that more and stay out of trouble.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how evenly matched this game is on paper. If you're looking at DVOA, which is the analytics side of things, the Seahawks are the number 1 team in the league, top 10 in through 9 games ever, which is pretty crazy. The Rams are right there at number 2. You got both teams have top 5 offenses. Both teams, I believe, top 6 defenses.
Yes.
So, I mean, these are 2 very evenly matched sides. And then, in the pass rush game, the Hawks are tied for second with most sacks. The Rams are just 5 sacks behind the Hawks within that top 10. So the Rams are going to be getting after Sam Darnold. But the Seahawks offensive line and Clint Kubiak has done a really good job of scheming the blocking to be able to help Sam out. I mean, how many times have we seen tight ends, running backs, staying back to blocking? You only got 2 routes, and they're still able to find somebody open.
Yes.
So that's going to be an interesting matchup. I think we were talking about it on the defensive side of the ball for the Hawks. The formula has been the Hawks having a very low blitz rate, yet they're getting a very high pass rushing rate. And I haven't checked the updated numbers, but before this past game against the Cardinals, they were the second lowest rate of blitzing, the second highest rate in getting pressure. That is an incredible formula for any defense to have, and it's very hard to play offense against. So, Bill, you mentioned Davante Adams and Puka Nacua. The Seahawks aren't having to blitz. You got more guys back there to cover those 2 guys. That's advantage Seahawks, in my opinion. But it is Sean McVay, and he has had the Seahawks number in the past. So it's I have no idea how it's going to play out. I don't even have a prediction. When we were looking at the schedule and sort of going through it a couple of weeks ago. I had this game as a loss just because put a loss somewhere. Hawks are going to drop a game on the road against the Rams. Seemed like the right one. Hawks are playing some really good football. It's hard to bet against them.
Especially on the road.
Yeah.
They are road warriors right now, and Mike McDonald is the leader of that. I expect the Hawks to win a close game, but it has to be mistake-free from our quarterback. The defense, I'm not worried about. It's been next man up. They've been lights out, and I believe they will continue to be that way. It's up to this offense. I don't think they stop JSN. The run game has to really get going, truly get going, and Sam Darnold must limit those mistakes. He has to. You can play that way when you play against a Commanders team or a Cardinals team, teams where you blitz out of the jump and you up 28 points. You can play loose that way, but against this LA Rams team, second, you say, in the NFL right now, second only to the Hawks in DVOA, you have to protect the football.
Yeah, I don't know if Oluwatimi's going to be back in there at center or
it looks like Jalen Sundell's going to be out for a few weeks.
Yeah, right. So they're going to have all week to practice that snap. So we're not going to see that drop snap that we saw there, and gave the Cardinals the ball back at the doorstep. I gave great credit to the defense for standing tall and limiting them on both of those occasions. Darnold had that weird pass that went off the helmet, and then it was picked off, and they had another red zone opportunity. The Cardinals did. They can't do that. Rashid Shaheed on the kick return, he coughed it up.
Yeah.
We were able to recover it, but that stuff can't happen this week. I mean, value the football. That's going to be the key.
And I believe the Hawks have like a -4 turnover differential. So they, that's not a good sign for a good team. You want to be on the other side of that, so you cannot keep giving up the ball. And the defense, to the defense's credit, I mean, the offense did everything in their power to let the Cardinals score, and the defense would not relent. 4th and 1s, 4th and goals. The defense continually stopped them. Penalties brought it right back. And, the defense was just – I am so impressed with the Seattle Seahawks defense.
Yeah, and playing well and not committing a lot of penalties, too.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, that's the other part of it. They're playing clean, they're playing tough, and they're playing fast.
Well, on the offensive side of the ball, too, the Seahawks have one of the fewest holding and false starts penalties in the entire league from the you talk about the offensive line turning a page. That's discipline right there.
And you got to give the credit to Mike McDonald.
Yes.
I screamed at him when I wanted him to take accountability for some of the things this team has done. I have to give him credit. Mike McDonald, this is a greatly coached team. They're students of the game. You can tell they know their assignments. You have young players like Nick Imawari playing multiple roles. Sam Darnold, he's looked fantastic other than a few plays here and there. I love the way this team is being coached. Mike McDonald, you get that credit.
He's given the players the reins now, and he says, okay, you get it now. You understand the blueprint. This is how we do it. They go out and execute. They're playing with terrific confidence, and they believe in each other. And I think that's maybe the difference between a Mike McDonald era Seahawk team as opposed to a Pete Carroll era. It was Pete that brought in the I'm in, and getting the buy-in of the players. I think McDonald's formula was more coming in, I'm going to give you this blueprint. When we figure this out, we're going to be really tough. And now they're all believing in each other, so it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy.
And to your credit, before you have to leave, Bill, I know your time is precious. DeMarcus Lawrence stated after the game when he had those 2 scoops and scores, he said, all we did was run the play that Coach McDonald drew it up, and we ran it to perfection, and we get 2 touchdowns. So Coach McDonald, he's dialing it up too. I like Sean McVay, but I'm going to have to say advantage McDonald on this one. Defense wins championships.
Yeah, well, we're talking about this Ram game, so really quick, let's go over our Star Watch. Bill, before every game, we do a Star Watch, one player, a pick to click, if you will, for the game. I'm going with DeMarcus Lawrence. I think he continues to
2 touchdowns again?
Yeah, another 2. Yeah. No, I think he's going to get after Matthew Stafford. Bill, you mentioned getting Matthew Stafford off his spot, making him uncomfortable. I think DeMarcus Lawrence does that. Dante, why'd you pick Byron Murphy?
The same reason, exactly. And he's the middle. I think you need pressure up the middle to affect. If you're in Matthew Stafford's lap, then you can have him coming off the edge. He can step into the pocket and still complete the play. But if you get pressure up the middle from a Byron Murphy in his face, in his lap, moving him off his mark and making him move, I think that's the success. That's lead to the success of the Seahawks defense. So I picked Byron Murphy. You got somebody?
You got picked a
Yeah,
click?
I'm curious about Ernest Jones. I don't know what his health is at this point. We're going to find out later today, but he's obviously a key cog there. But I like the Byron Murphy call. I like that. I mean, because it's going to start up front.
Yes,
whatever they do.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Seahawks-Rams, we are looking forward to it. We're going to be covering it post-game next week here on the Sidelines. Bill Wixey, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Talking Hawks.
We had to bring him back. I remember him from FSN. We had to bring him back, y'all.
Way back.
We had to bring him back.
Bill, thanks for joining us. We're talking Sounders and Husky right after this. Thanks again to Bill Wixey of Good Day Seattle for joining us talking Seahawks. Let's move on to the Seattle Sounders. Unfortunately, from the highs of the Seahawks to can you get any lower than that Game 3 against Minnesota?
3-2-1 Cancun.
Man, I mean, Brian Schmetzer said after the game, and it might have been prisoner of the moment. I don't know. But he said that was the toughest loss he's ever been a part of with this franchise. Wow. And I sort of believe it. That was, I think, it wasn't an MLS Cup loss. You know, they lost 3-0 in 2020 to Columbus. And I saw our friend Nico Moreno on Lobbing Scorchers say that this game was at number 2 for him. Number 1 would probably be that MLS Cup against Columbus. Mm-hmm. But it was the way in which you did it. In you're up a man for the entire second half. You got off to a 2-0 lead on the road against a team that likes to pack it in. And that's significant because Minnesota has been so god-awful when they concede the first goal because they have to come out of their shape. They have to play uncomfortable. They have to go chasing goals instead of waiting for you to make a mistake, which is what their play style is. So, yeah, I mean, and then to go into penalties, Andrew Thomas, subs in, which I think was the right move from Brian Schmetzer. You've seen him step up in those moments. He saves 2 straight penalties in the sudden death period where you have 2 straight opportunities to walk it off and convert a 90% success rate penalty kick from the spot, however far it is. And you miss both. You hit the post, and then Dane St. Clair makes the save. And then you get to the goalkeepers, and Andrew Thomas, the keeper that kept you in this penalty shootout, who's fighting through probably a broken finger. I don't even know what it was, but whatever that injury was that he picked up. He hits the post. The 4th time in the game you hit the post, 3 of them being in penalties.
Yes.
Does it get more? I mean, I don't think it gets more painful than that.
I mean, the post was the best defender all night long. It was brutal. Let's call it what it is. The thing about the PKs was you had your best players up for those, and it wasn't ever supposed to get to Andrew Thomas hitting the post. You had Jordan Morris and you had Obed Vargas, 2 of your better players, and they both came up short. Now, I'm going to say this. Like, in the march to try to get the shield, I think Schmetzer went out on his shield. He went out with players like Jordan Morris and the goalie Stephen Fry. He rode them till the wheels fell off, and I thought that Andrew Thomas should have started a game or been in a game a little bit earlier. I had made no bones about my opinion on playing younger players. Now, he almost looked like a genius when Jordan Morris hit the equalizer. But at the end of the day, it was Jordan Morris and Obed Vargas, one of the young players, that disappointed this team.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't share the same sentiment, but I see where you're coming from. I think playing Danny Musovski and Jordan Morris together up top, that's what unlocked the offense in Game 2. And then you saw it bear fruit again in Game 3 and get off to that incredible start. I don't know what happened and how you're giving up 2 goals to a 10-man Minnesota side. I know they're dangerous on set pieces, but you're up a man. Like, I to me that falls on focus. It falls on effort. It's difficult, and to leave a man unmarked on that third goal.
That's it right there.
Absolutely killer. But to me, where the game was lost or where you let it slip away was in the beginning of that second half, where you're just absolutely pelting Minnesota with these chances. It was that onslaught the first 10 minutes of the second half. There was a beautifully created chance where, was it Paul Rothrock on the left? Whoever was playing left wing in that game slips Christian Roldan down the left side of the goal on the touchline. He cuts it across to the penalty spot where Albert Rusnak is wide open, has a first-time volleyed, shot, a ground shot, hits the left post instead of that. That's a sitter.
Yes.
To me, that's a sitter, and
Yes.
that needs to put your DP10 needs to put that away. And this game is not on Albert Rusnak by any means.
No.
But that is the chance that I look back on. And it's like you hit that, and it's a completely different ball game, and Minnesota's probably not able to recover.
It looked like Minnesota was the more resilient team. They went down 2-0 and still came back. They were fighting. They went a man down, and they still were fighting. And that was the fight I wanted to see from the Sounders. And the Sounders played like they expected to win rather than going to take it.
I don't know. I mean, they started the game. You cannot start a game any better than that.
Exactly, but you have to finish. You started a game in the first 10 minutes. I think it was 2 goals.
It was 8 minutes.
Yeah. So now you got 80 more minutes to go. And you packed it in, and I don't know what happened. And so I just would think Minnesota, they had no quit. They were the better team. They showed it throughout the regular season, and they showed it in the PK shootout with their goalie standing up, even putting one in the back of the net to secure it. So they were just a better squad right now. And I think it hurt so much for Schmetzer because he thought he had a good squad. He thought this was a championship squad. I think this was the swan song for Stephen Fry. I really don't expect him to be at least starting. I'm not going to say he's not going to be on this squad, but I think he wanted to go out with the players that got him here, for lack of a better term. And I think he sacrificed a postseason for that, if you ask me. That's just my opinion. A lot of people are not going to agree. Now, maybe those young players come in and they don't have as good a performance. But I've been saying since the Leagues Cup that the younger players need to play a little bit more. He went with the experience, and I think that experience and those older players came back to bite him.
Let's look back on the season as a whole and sort of reflect for a moment. The season was full of firsts. You got the Club World Cup, where the Sounders proved that they could compete on a world stage against the Brazilian champs in Botafogo, played them tough. You got Atletico Madrid, who's every year in Champions League and near the top of La Liga in Spain, and you've got PSG, who they went into the half tied with, the champions of the world, the most recent reigning Champions League winners. Then you get into Leagues Cup, the first franchise in North American soccer to win all 5 annual trophies, and you go out and you beat Inter Miami and Lionel Messi at Lumen Field in front of a packed record crowd, and you win a trophy in that way. MLS Cup playoffs, disappointing. I think every single person in that Sounders locker room would tell you that it was disappointing. But D-Jack, was this season a success for the Seattle Sounders?
No, because I say you keep the main thing. Right after the Leagues Cup, this is what I said. You have to stack and go and get that MLS Cup because that's what you're getting paid to do. Now, the teams, they was actually protesting because they wasn't getting paid enough for the leagues, the World Cup, the Club World Cup, if anything at all, peanuts. All right, but the MLS is what you get paid for, so you have to have a better showing. You at least have to get out of that opening round against Minnesota. You just have to if you're the Sounders. So it's a disappointing. It has some wins. It has some successes, but overall, when you don't finish with an MLS Cup, it's not a good season. It's a failure.
Yeah, only the second time the Sounders have made the playoffs and failed to make it to the conference semifinals. And, what I respected the most was after the game, Brian Schmetzer, he said, most clubs would see the season as a success with taking a trophy home. but he was like, the standard at this club, the standard that they have set, this is not a success, which I think other franchises in this market could, take some advice from.
Yeah, they could definitely take the lesson.
That is so refreshing to hear, to see the face of this team, the head coach, Brian Schmetzer, one of the more legendary figures in Seattle sports, be like, this was not good enough. And that starts with us. That starts with me at the top. Major kudos to Brian Schmetzer for, and if he had called this season, if he goes to the end of season press conference and he calls the season a success, I'm not even going to be mad at him, because there is so much for this team to be proud of.
Yes.
That Leagues Cup win, the way they showed themselves at the Club World Cup, absolutely magical moments that anybody involved will never forget.
And make no mistake, they dominated. They didn't just beat the Leagues Cup or win the Leagues Cup. They dominated that competition.
They beat Cruz Azul 7-0.
Right.
7-0. Cruz Azul won CONCACAF Champions Cup.
Yes.
That is not just some Mexican side that's, that's Cruz Azul.
Yes.
I mean, there were so many incredible moments throughout the season.
They had some great moments, but, two things can be true. I believe Coach Schmetzer is the best coach of any sport in the Northwest, maybe even Northwest history, with respect to the late, great, as a matter of fact, R.I.P. Lenny Wilkins.
Yeah.
All right? But he's one of the better coaches we've ever saw out of any sport. But this year, after that Leagues Cup, I didn't think he did the best job, especially with the personnel that was hot. You have to ride the hot hand. You have to. Danny was on that bench way too long, and this team was trending down after the Leagues Cup. And I just wanted him to replicate the same momentum that got them there. He didn't do that. And you can see this coming. You can see that the Sounders were trending downward, and they played like it. They had some fight in the beginning, but it wasn't enough. They didn't finish.
I want to look ahead to this offseason because the Sounders have some interesting personnel decisions they need to make. You mentioned Stephen Fry. He's a free agent. I wouldn't be surprised, and you sort of said this too, if they go with Andrew Thomas as the starter, but they still bring back Stephen Fry as that veteran to be his backup.
Yes.
I think that would be a perfect fit for Steph, and I think he would enjoy it personally. He has said throughout the season that he doesn't want this to be the last season of his career. I think it's just a matter of if he's open to taking a back seat, and I think he is. So, we'll see on that one. I had other ones to talk about, but for time, I'll keep it short. The other two big ones, Paul Rothrock is a free agent, and Craig Weibel has said that they're working through contract negotiations. It was back in September when he said that. But nothing has been reached. He's a free agent. He can go overseas. He can do whatever. He's shown to be an asset for the Sounders team. I think it'd be a pretty big loss if they don't get him back.
Yes. I mean, I love his energy, whether he's coming off the bench, whether he's starting.
He's versatile.
Paulie Primetime.
Yeah.
He's been that energy guy all season long. One of the better players, if you ask me. A lot of people saying Christian Rodon had the best season of the Sounders. I beg to differ. I mean, I think is numerous Sounders that had just as good a year. And have the numbers to back it up. And Paulie Primetime is one of them. I think you have to bring him back. He's one of those younger players that just plays full of energy, and I love what he brings to the Sounders.
I don't know if anybody had a better season than Christian Roldan. I would push back there. MLS Best 11, national team.
They got to give it to somebody. I think it's a team award. Sometimes when your team is successful, they pick that one guy, a la Bobby Wagner. When LOB was at their heyday, they closed their eyes and they picked the middle linebacker, Bobby Wagner. Okay, you're the representative. Now you're a 10-time Pro Bowler. Not saying he earned it. He didn't earn it. Not saying he didn't deserve it, but he wasn't the best player on that defense, but he still continually got those Pro Bowls. So sometimes they pick a representative of the team. Those scoring, they would spread around for the Sounders. Masofsky got some. Rossnet got some. Okay, we know his name, Christian Rodon. Let's pick him.
I'm going to put it on the record that I disagree so the commenters don't get mad at me.
I just go by the eyeball test. I go by what I see. I'm going to call it like I see it.
The last one really quick, Nuhu Tolo, left back, starting left back, has a club option. I expect them to bring him back. However, I don't think it's a slam dunk decision. I think his one-on-one defending, he's one of the best one-on-one defenders in the entire league. But to me, some of the the brain farts that he has throughout the year. It reminds me of DK Metcalf in the fact, those personal foul penalties that will just sink the team. Nuhu in some of his antics and the red cards, and it can be very detrimental to the team that would outweigh what he brings to the squad. Do you think they should bring him back really quick?
I think they should bring him back simply because you don't let go a defensive player right now. I think that was the Sounders' Achilles heel this year with Yamar in and out of the lineup, Nuhu with his brain farts, as you would say, his antics. I think, you bring all those defensive players back and you add to those defensive players. You don't get rid of none right now because I think that was the hole in the Sounders team.
Yeah, the Sounders have some other club options that they need to weigh. Obed Vargas is a club option. Obviously, they're going to pick that up. But as far as an extension on him, Craig Weibel said he's been working on that, so we'll keep our eyes peeled.
And you got to come through with those PKs, Obed.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's unfortunate.
And, it's a distraction for the Sounders, too. Rodon on the U.S. team, Obed, Mexican team, national team, and overseas wanting him. It's been a bunch of distractions for these players, and that's the way they played.
Danny Musovsky also has a club option. I feel like they would pick that up, but he could also be good trade bait, I feel like, if you're really committed to Jordan Morris. So we'll see about it. He's got value, and he's never going to have more value. Ryan Kent also has a club option as well. So if they liked what they saw from him, they could bring him back. So a lot of stuff to do in the offseason. Really quick, the Washington Huskies lost to Wisconsin in just awful fashion, awful conditions. But that's a game that you got to win as a ranked team with a chance at getting into the playoff if you can get to that Oregon game unscathed and then somehow pull out an upset.
Yes.
But that game was going to be at Husky Stadium. It sort of felt like there was some hope. And then they just absolutely lay an egg really quick.
It's because we said something. The minute we said nobody's talking about the Huskies,
we looked the Huskies right in the eyes.
We got our binoculars and we started looking at the Huskies, and they went ahead and lose to the Wisconsin Badgers. Now, I'm going to say this really quickly. They played like a team. It's been rumors that Coach Jed Fish wants out. They played like a team that's hearing the rumors that their coach went out. It was listless. It was effortless. It was lack of effort there. It just was no fire. I understand the weather conditions, but at the same time, this team did not play with energy. I think they're worried about their coach.
Yeah, it's it's tough to lose to a team where their leading passer is their punter with 24 yards. That's just tough. Really unfortunate for the Huskies. I don't really have a side in the Huskies Cougs thing. I'm from the Northwest, so I root for the Northwest teams. And the Huskies had a chance for the playoffs. So I was hoping to make that happen for get the Pacific Northwest on the national stage. I will say it is very unfortunate that they are not going there. Let's wrap things up.
They're
with
still bowl eligible though.
There you go. Yeah, the silver lining, and we'll see what Jed Fish does if he decides to skip town or not. Remains to be seen. So let's wrap things up. Let's update our pick standings. I'm still in the lead of the 2-1 week. Dante dropping a game at 1-2, under 500. Austin and Will keeping pace at 2-1. Austin's still 4 games back of me in the lead. Will 5 games back. Let's
money line.
Let's go over the picks for the week. Will Ortner of Chat Sports, friend of the pod. He's going with the Packers at the Giants, the Texans at the Titans, and then his underdog of the week, he's going with the Carolina Panthers at Michael Penix and the Atlanta Falcons. Austin, with his picks, he's going similar. Texans at Titans. He's going Patriots versus Jets on Thursday Night Football. Patriots playing some good ball, but who knows what can happen on Thursday Night Football. And then his underdog, the 8-2 Denver Broncos versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's a good matchup.
The Broncos are underdogs in that game, despite I believe the Chiefs are only 5-4. So that's an interesting one there. Dante, your picks. Would love your reaction. You're going with that Thursday Night Football game, Patriots versus the Jets. You're going with the Baltimore Ravens at the Cleveland Browns. And then your underdog, the Detroit Lions at the Philadelphia Eagles. Why do you like the Lions?
I love the Lions. Jameer Gibbs. Amon St. Brown.
Yep. Amon-Ra.
Amon-Ra. I mean, they have so many weapons. Jameson Williams. Yep. Sam Laporta.
David Montgomery.
A plethora of the
Don't
best
forget about
weapons.
my fantasy running back.
And I have David Montgomery, too.
There we go.
But I just love Jameer Gibbs. And when he was up for the draft, I wanted the Seahawks to draft him so bad. Him along with Brian Branch. I love those two players coming out of Alabama. Those were the 2 best players in the nation, in my opinion, at that time, and I wanted the Seahawks to get him. They didn't. But Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, has to be one of the best game breakers in the NFL right now, definitely.
My picks, I'm going with the Packers at the Giants. Same pick as Will. I'm going with the Ravens at the Browns, overlapping with Dante. And Dante, I'm actually same dog as you. I'm taking the Lions at the Eagles. The Eagles have been playing some ugly football.
They've been winning, though.
They've been playing some ugly football. And, yeah, the Packers are a tough team. I think the Lions are better. I think the Lions are going to get
Now, quickly, Ethan, let me ask you, top 5 in the NFL right now. Let's go hard. NFC.
Okay.
Top 5 in the NFC. Do you have the Hawks as number 1?
I'm gonna. Man, you're gonna put me on the spot like that. I'm going Seahawks at number 1.
Okay.
I'm going Seahawks number 1. I'm going Rams 2. I'm gonna go Lions 3, Bucks 4, Eagles 5.
Okay.
That's my top 5.
All
you
right.
got similar?
I have Eagles first. Actually,
wow.
They're the champions and they keep winning. They win ugly. I have the Lions second, Rams third, Seahawks fourth, and then for my fifth team, I'm not sure who I have for my fifth.
Bucks maybe.
But those are my top 4 right there. So, I do have the Seahawks in the top 5, but I don't have them as a top team. You have to beat the champions. You have to knock them off their mountain. And the Eagles, yes, they're winning ugly. Yes, they have strife, but that calls for what kind of team they are. They're still winning. And so as long as they keep winning, I have them in the number 1 spot.
A lot of the talk from the Rams camp that I'm hearing is that the Rams think this is going to be a cakewalk. I guarantee you, Rams fans, it is not going to be a cakewalk. This is going to be a good football game. I don't know who's going to win. It's going to be a tough one.
Hawks going to win.
All right.
Go Hawks.
All right.
Championship.
All right, that's going to do it for this week. Thanks to Bill Wixey for taking the time for Good Day Seattle.
You,
and for DJ Dante Jackson, I'm Ethan McReynolds. See you next time on The Sidelines.
Let's go!
On the Sidelines is available wherever you get your podcast.